Jordan B. Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, tells the tale of Pinocchio. In this story, a puppet fulfills his wish by breaking free from the strings controlling his existence. He welcomes the chance to become a real independent boy. However, Pinocchio soon realizes that this newfound freedom comes with real life's dangers. He also faces the painful truths surrounding honesty, friendship, and family. Timeless tales like Pinocchio and numerous myths, fairy tales, and religious stories illustrate the ongoing quest for meaning as a balancing act between order and chaos. People persist in sharing and revisiting these historical and philosophical texts, yearning for universal values that add significance to our lives. This is precisely the essence that Jordan B. Peterson encapsulates in his 12 values, designed to guide individuals through modern chaos. Summary number 1 emphasizes that hierarchies exist across all societies, so it's crucial to present yourself confidently. You've likely heard of the term pecking order. Do you know its origin? It goes back to Norwegian zoologist Thorleif Schjelderup Ebbe, who studied barnyard chickens in the 1920s and observed their hierarchy. The strongest, healthiest birds get first access to food, while the weakest only peck at leftovers. Pecking orders aren't limited to chickens. They appear throughout the animal kingdom. Lobsters, whether in the ocean or captivity, fiercely compete for optimal shelter. Research shows that these competitive confrontations result in distinct chemical variations in their brains. Winning lobsters exhibit a higher serotonin to octopamine ratio, while losing lobsters display the opposite. These chemical differences influence their postures. More serotonin enables winners to be more agile and upright, whereas more octopamine causes losers to remain tense and curled up. These dynamics carry over to human interactions. Studies reveal that those battling alcoholism or depression tend to avoid competition, reinforcing their inactivity and feelings of low self-worth. Conversely, individuals on winning streaks often radiate confidence, helping maintain their success. Like lobsters, humans continually assess their standing relative to one another, connecting physical presence with intelligence. If you seek an advantage, heed this first rule. Hold your head high and embody the posture of a winner. Summary number 2 advises treating yourself with the same care you would extend to a loved one. If your dog required medication, you wouldn't hesitate to fill the prescription, would you? Surprisingly, 1/3 of individuals ignore medical advice from their doctors. Why do we tend to prioritize our pets over ourselves? Part of the issue lies in our self-awareness of flaws that often breeds self-loathing. This emotional weight can compel us to care for others before ourselves. This sense of unworthiness is deeply rooted, hearkening back to tales like Adam and Eve's exile from Eden. In this allegorical narrative, they symbolize all humanity, seduced by an evil serpent to partake of forbidden knowledge. In doing so, they, and thus humankind, are viewed as forever tainted by sin. This narrative can make us acutely aware of our dark sides and reinforce feelings of undeservingness. Yet another interpretation exists. The world itself is flawed. The characters in the garden embody the chaotic blend of order and chaos. This duality echoes Eastern philosophy's yin-yang concept, where light and dark coexist, both containing elements of each. Achieving harmony involves striking a balance and steering clear of extremes. For instance, if a parent overly safeguards their child, they replace chaos with excessive order. In simpler terms, seeking to be purely good is futile. Thus, we arrive at the second rule: care for yourself as you would a loved one. Nurture your well-being without relentlessly combating chaos. This is an unwinnable battle. Rather than solely pursuing happiness, aim to identify what truly benefits you. As a child, you may have resisted brushing your teeth, but it was essential in the long run. As an adult, identify clear goals defining your identity and life's path. Then seek the steps necessary to achieve them. Summary number 3 stresses the importance of wise friend selection. The author had a childhood friend who remained in Fairview, Alberta, stagnant among the town's underachievers. Every revisit highlighted his friend's gradual decline, as youthful promise morphed into aging discontent. The author recognized that these negative associations were stifling his friend's potential, a phenomenon that can afflict anyone. In workplaces, similar biases emerge when mediocre performers join high-achieving teams, often pulling others downwards instead of lifting them up. This underscores the third rule: surround yourself with supportive friends. It's wise to be choosy. Nurturing friendships promote positive transformations. As you invest in these relationships, they grow stronger and mutually beneficial. When you struggle, these friends uplift you, and in turn, you stand by them in challenging times. This dynamic fosters individual achievements and social accomplishments. Upon leaving Fairview for college, the author connected with like-minded peers, enabling shared successes in academics and extracurricular activities. You'll know you've chosen well if your friends encourage you to overcome negativity and strive for your best self. Summary number 4. Highlights that growth comes from comparing yourself to your past. The concept of being a big fish in a small pond has faded. Now we're all part of a vast global community. No matter your location, someone will always outshine you, prompting self-criticism, which is essential for self-improvement. Critique keeps you moving forward and striving for progress, but it becomes toxic when it centers on comparisons to others. This leads to a binary view of success and failure. You might overlook minor yet critical development moments. Focusing solely on a singular aspect of life can distort reality. For example, reviewing a lack of workplace productivity may make you feel like a failure while neglecting improvements in your family relationships. The 4th rule dictates you should never measure yourself against others. Instead, assess yourself based on past achievements. Keeping this perspective allows ongoing progress. Always being on top indicates a need for more significant challenges to pursue. When evaluating your evolution, think like a home inspector, categorizing issues from minor to major, thereby allowing focused improvement. Tip number 5 emphasizes the parent's crucial role in nurturing responsible, kind children. Observing unruly children can raise questions about parental responsibility. In child rearing, approaches have shifted significantly over time, often influenced by the nature versus nurture debate. In the 18th century, philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau promoted the idea of gentle, innocent ancestral natures. Today, we understand that aggressive instincts are part of human nature. Individuals must learn to temper these traits as they grow. Recall how fierce playground conflicts can be? Workplaces tend to be peaceful in comparison. It's upon parents to guide inherently aggressive children toward becoming civilized adults. Leading us to the 5th rule. Parents should promote responsible and likable traits in their children. While being the bad guy isn't enjoyable, establishing boundaries is necessary. Children need to experience limits to understand societal norms. This requires a firm, clear approach. Though it may not seem appealing, consider this. If children don't learn critical lessons from a loving parent, they'll later learn in far harsher circumstances. Let's explore 3 effective parenting methods. First, minimize rules. Overregulation frustrates children, limiting them with too many boundaries. Keep rules simple. No biting, kicking, or hitting unless to defend oneself. Second, employ the least force required. Consistent, fair discipline means consequences should fit actions. Punishment shouldn't be excessively harsh. Sometimes, a disappointed look suffices. At other times, a week without video games may be required. Third, teamwork is essential. Children will pit parents against one another, so maintaining a united front is crucial. Mistakes happen to all parents. Supportive partners help identify those missteps. Summary number 6 acknowledges that injustices abound in life, but we shouldn't blame others for our circumstances. There's little point in sugarcoating this truth. Life entails challenges and suffering, yet despair isn't the answer. People have reacted to perceived injustices with drastic measures. Russian author Leo Tolstoy described life's absurd injustices, proposing only 4 fundamental responses: childlike ignorance, hedonistic pleasure, suicide, or persisting through adversity. In his essay, A Confession, he found honesty in suicide while viewing perseverance as weakness. Some responses to life's cruelty involved murder-suicides, exemplified by Sandy Hook and Columbine shootings. Over 1,000 shootings had occurred in the U.S. within a condensed time frame, often involving shooters taking their own lives afterward. However bleak Tolstoy's worldview may be, don't blame the world for your struggles. This is the essence of the 6th rule. Assume responsibility for your life before judging society. Russian writer Alexander Solzhenitsyn rejected life's cruelty even after experiencing it firsthand. He fought against Nazis during World War II, only to find himself imprisoned by his own government afterward. He even learned he had cancer while serving his sentence. Despite these challenges, Solzhenitsyn did not fault the world for his plight. Acknowledging his involvement in the Communist Party, he resolved to contribute positively during his remaining time. His book, The Gulag Archipelago, chronicled his harrowing experiences, ultimately undermining support for Stalin's regime in intellectual circles. Summary number 7. Highlights the significance of sacrifice and the pursuit of meaning over instant pleasures. Recall the story of a monkey caught with its hand in a cookie jar. The monkey grasps a cookie just large enough to fit its hand in the jar, yet unable to withdraw with it held tight. The lesson? Greed can lead to entrapment. You might compare this to human behavior. How often do we pursue fleeting pleasures contrary to our best interests? How many fear sacrificing for what genuinely matters? Seeing life as a despairing pit makes justifying fleeting pleasures much easier. People might abuse food, alcohol, drugs, or engage in risky behavior, believing if it brings happiness, it can't be wrong. However, prioritizing earlier sacrifices serves as groundwork for future rewards. Throughout history, tribes set aside provisions for harsh winter months or to aid those unable to fend for themselves, a repeated theme throughout the Bible. Upon expulsion from paradise, Adam and Eve's original sin paved the way for the harsh reality all must face. According to this perspective, suffering in life is part of the sacrifice we make, ultimately leading to joy in the afterlife. This brings us to Rule 7. Prioritize meaningful goals over immediate gratification. Many may assume this concept is inherently known. After all, we often sacrifice time for work to enjoy future vacations. This notion extends beyond self-serving motives. Smaller and larger sacrifices benefit the greater good. Often, the more significant the sacrifice, the greater the reward. Picture the lotus flower, which begins at the lake's bottom and slowly rises, eventually blooming under sunlight. This symbolizes persistence. Endure sacrifices to achieve your goals, and your efforts will be duly rewarded. Summary. Number 8 addresses self-deception through lies, urging us to strive for truthful living. Philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche believed we could gauge our spiritual strength by how much unvarnished truth we can handle. Although truth holds significant value, we frequently engage in deceit. One primary motive behind lies is our desire for that which we believe we want. Austrian psychologist Alfred Adler labeled them as life lies, what we fabricate to distort unsuitable aspirations into reality. For instance, you might envision retirement spent beachside with endless margaritas. This dream can be enticing, causing you to cling to the illusion even when faced with mounting obstacles that render it less viable. Imagine developing allergies to sun, sand, and drinks, all while clinging to this fantasy that's devoid of any actionable steps to realize it. Such delusions often inhibit genuine growth, hindering the desire to learn. Far worse consequences arise when living a life lie. In John Milton's Paradise Lost, Lucifer becomes prideful and ultimately challenges divine truth, resulting in expulsion from heaven. This foreshadows rule number 8, stop lying and pursue truth. You don't need to abandon every ambitious goal, but ensure flexibility and realism in your aims. As your understanding evolves, so too should your aspirations. If your life veers off course, challenge the prevailing truths you rely on. Reaffirm your personal truth to navigate back on track. Summary number 9 suggests we view conversations as opportunities for learning and growth rather than competition. Centuries after his death, Socrates remains one of the wisest individuals, primarily due to his conviction that he knew nothing. This belief fueled his inquisitive nature during conversations. Meaningful discussions should mirror internal dialogue. Exploring diverse perspectives helps reach conclusions. This explains why we converse, as it enables us to view issues more clearly. Even children learn through dialogue. One kid's idea to climb on a roof yields cautionary advice from a friend, leading to safer decisions. However, many discussions devolve into contests where individuals focus on winning rather than understanding. Participants might ignore valuable insights, prioritizing their rebuttals above true dialogue. Therefore, rule number 9 posits that listening to others can reveal new insights. A helpful conversational tactic is to paraphrase what someone just shared. This ensures you comprehend their perspective and reinforces retention. It minimizes oversimplifying or distorting facts to suit one's viewpoint. While facing difficult truths can be painful, this willingness to learn is essential for growth and understanding. Summary number 10 addresses life's complexity. advocating for clear, precise language to engage with it. Life forms a vast tapestry, yet we often perceive only fragments. Encountering an apple on the ground might trigger thoughts of food without considering the tree and roots from which it fell. Our minds often simplify our experiences to navigate life. This necessary skill aids our functionality. However, chaos sometimes shatters this understanding, leading us to Rule 10. Embrace precision in language. Consider the word car. It symbolizes transportation, but if it breaks down, do you truly grasp its complexities? When confronted with problems, emotions often lead to frustration. This chaotic experience necessitates restoring order through clear, articulate explanations. This principle applies when illness arises. Specifying symptoms aids medical professionals in diagnosing accurately. Clarity also enhances interpersonal relationships. If a partner neglects responsibilities, addressing this directly allows for smoother solutions. Point 11 acknowledges oppressive individuals exist, yet we must avoid repressive attitudes. George Orwell's The Road to Wigan Pier illustrates how socialism gained traction due to its opposition to the affluent. Current sentiments reflect similar animosity toward the patriarchal system. Influenced by Max Horkheimer's critical theory, there's a belief that societal change should focus on dismantling male power structures rather than empowering women. This approach has fostered animus toward male behavior, often manifesting as unjust generalization. Treating men as potential aggressors isn't conducive to meaningful dialogue. Though many men have acted poorly, their natural aggression can yield positive outcomes in competition and exploration. The author draws parallels to skateboarders on the University of Toronto campus, where their audacity represents the human spirit. But when officials banned skateboarding, this sentiment leads to Rule 11. Don't hinder young people's natural inclinations. Restrictions should uphold safety, but not suppress positive attributes. Fictional depictions of emasculated men, such as in Fight Club, illustrate how aggression can manifest dangerously when repressed. The reaction against emasculation has given rise to right-wing ideologies. Ultimately, women seek balanced partners. What mother desires to care for an emotionally dependent man-child? Summary number 12 brings us back to the hardships and joys of life, encouraging us to cherish small delights. Caring for a sick loved one poses numerous challenges. The author's daughter battles severe arthritis, which has necessitated extensive medical intervention. Faced with overwhelming adversity, maintaining perspective on life's small joys becomes crucial. The origins of Superman illustrate this. Initially captivating, the character became dull once he gained unfathomable powers. Without risk, those victories held no weight. Just as life's achievements lose significance when devoid of struggle, Rule 12 underscores the importance of valuing even minor moments of happiness. Embrace every good moment across life's spectrum. Through trials and tribulations, the author's daughter eventually found a physiotherapist who helped her thrive despite ongoing challenges. Adopting a positive mindset fosters appreciation in both joyful and difficult times. Always remember there's no day without the night's darkness, much like there can be no order without chaos. Life encompasses suffering, but it's also what lends meaning to our perseverance, making peaceful moments all the more rewarding.